Have you ever wondered what it takes to launch a mission that could change the future of space exploration? Imagine sitting on the edge of your seat, counting down to a liftoff that could lead to the first ever commercial spacewalk in history. But just as the moment arrives, everything is put on hold. Cut to footage of a rocket booster failure, sound effect of an explosion, screen cuts to black. This is exactly what happened with SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket just days before one of their most ambitious missions, Polaris Dawn, was set to launch. A simple malfunction led to an unexpected delay, grounding not just the rocket, but the hopes of a crew preparing for the adventure of a lifetime. So, what went wrong? And how does a single booster mishap affect the entire future of space travel? Today, we're diving into the gripping story behind the Falcon 9 failure, the high-stakes mission it's delaying, and what all of this could mean for the future of commercial space exploration. Cut to footage of a SpaceX team in the control room, showing serious faces and tense atmosphere. It all started on what should have been a routine mission. SpaceX was in the middle of deploying new satellites for its ever-expanding Starlink network. The Falcon 9 rocket had successfully lifted off from Cape Canaveral, its payload destined for space. Everything seemed to be going smoothly, until it wasn't. The booster, on its 23rd flight, no less, was supposed to land on one of SpaceX's drone ships after separation. But when it attempted to relight its engines to touch down safely, an uncontrolled fire erupted from the base of the rocket. Seconds later, the booster was tumbling into the Atlantic Ocean, a failed landing that triggered an immediate investigation by the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. Cut to FAA officials and investigation footage. Now, the FAA isn't taking any chances. They grounded SpaceX's Falcon 9 operations until they can figure out exactly what went wrong and ensure public safety moving forward. This isn't the first time the Falcon 9 has been grounded. Just a few months ago, the FAA had to pause launches after a second stage failure during another Starlink mission. That delay lasted 2 weeks. But here's the kicker. This new investigation has far bigger implications. Because while the FAA is busy reviewing what caused the booster failure, a group of 4 astronauts is waiting in quarantine, on standby, for a mission that could set a new milestone in human spaceflight. Cut to astronauts in quarantine, prepping for the mission, and mission patches on their suits, the Polaris Dawn Mission. 4 astronauts, led by millionaire entrepreneur Jared Isaacman, are preparing for what is arguably the riskiest commercial spaceflight ever attempted. Why? Because they're planning the first commercial spacewalk in history. And not just that, they'll be traveling further from Earth than anyone has since the Apollo missions over 50 years ago. But with the Falcon 9 grounded, that mission is now in limbo. Cut to training footage of the astronauts, testing equipment, building anticipation. This crew isn't just waiting for a rocket, they're waiting for history. Isaacman, a pilot and founder of a payments startup, has bankrolled the Polaris project with one goal in mind: to push the boundaries of what's possible in space. Alongside him are 2 SpaceX engineers, Sarah Gillis and Menon, and Scott Poteet, a former U.S. Air Force lieutenant colonel. They've trained for months, prepared for everything from high-orbit spaceflight to the dangers of cosmic radiation. And when they finally get the green light, they'll be embarking on a 5-day journey around Earth, venturing as far as 1,400 kilometers into space, higher than anyone has traveled since 1972. Cut to a diagram of their mission path, showing the farthest point from Earth. The spacewalk is planned for the 3rd day of their mission. But there's a twist. Unlike traditional spacewalks from the ISS, this one will take place without an airlock. That means the entire Crew Dragon cabin will be depressurized, and all 4 astronauts will rely on newly designed SpaceX suits for survival. Cut to shots of the SpaceX-designed spacesuits, focusing on their sleek design. These suits are a game-changer. Lighter and more flexible than anything NASA has used before, they're designed to protect the astronauts from the harsh vacuum of space while still allowing for mobility. But make no mistake, this spacewalk carries risks that go far beyond what's typical for space missions. Even Elon Musk himself has said this will be one of the most dangerous space flights in recent history. And all of it hangs in the balance, waiting on the outcome of a single investigation. Cut to dramatic shot of the Falcon 9 booster on the launch pad, silhouetted against the sky. So, what happens next? Will the investigation wrap up in time for the Polaris Dawn crew to launch as planned? Or will this delay cause a ripple effect, affecting other missions, like NASA's next crewed mission to the International Space Station? One thing is for certain: the future of space exploration is filled with risk, innovation, and the unknown. And sometimes, the smallest malfunction can bring even the grandest of missions to a sudden halt. Closing shot of Earth from space, Polaris Dawn mission patch fades in. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.